Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, a One Piece podcast.
Today we are diving into Chapter 85, 3 Swords versus 6 Swords.
And what a title! Robin, we have to start right at the core of it. The moment Zoro tells Hatchan that their swords have different weight.
It's one of the most significant lines in the story so far. It's not about kilograms, it's about conviction. It's a line that redefines what it means to be a swordsman in this world.
Exactly. It's the weight of a promise to be the greatest, the weight of a dead friend's dream on your shoulders, the weight of your captain's trust. It is everything. If you feel that weight too and you want to make sure you never miss us breaking down moments like this, find that little bell icon. Consider it your vow to the podcast. Now let's get into it because Zoro is in a bad way.
He's on the edge of consciousness. The wound Mihawk gave him is still fresh, and everyone knows it. This isn't just a minor cut. It's a gash that stretches from his shoulder to his hip, a wound delivered by the world's greatest swordsman. By all medical logic, he shouldn't even be standing.
He should be in a hospital bed with an IV drip, not facing down a 6-armed octopus fishman who is one of Arlong's top officers. You can see the blood soaking through his bandages. It's grim, just absolutely brutal. But Zoro doesn't do medical logic.
No, he operates on a different system entirely, a system of pure willpower. And we see that belief in him reflected in the only allies he has nearby.
And you see it in Johnny and Yosaku's faces. They're terrified for him, but they also have absolute faith in their Aniki. They're not just sidekicks here. They are his brothers in arms. They've seen his monster-like tenacity up close. They toss him their swords because they know he's the only one who can do this.
It's a huge moment of trust. For a swordsman, a blade is an extension of their soul. It's their livelihood, their honor. They're entrusting their very identities to Zoro in this moment, believing that his purpose is greater than their own. They are, in essence, becoming part of the weight he carries.
That is such a great point. They're adding their will to his, and it's so dramatic. They shout, "Aniki, use ours," and just hurl them through the air. But Zoro doesn't catch them, not at first. He just stands there, bandana on, eyes shadowed, and you can see Hatchan just grinning, thinking this is over. For a split second, everyone thinks Zoro's done.
That one panel where Zoro is still and the swords are frozen in midair, it's a masterful piece of tension from Oda. You can feel the panic from Johnny and Yosaku. Their hope, their very souls that they just threw, are about to clatter uselessly to the ground. Their Aniki is just standing there, unmoving.
It's a gut punch. You're screaming at the page, "Zoro, move, grab the swords." Hatchan is already lunging, his 6 blades poised to turn Zoro into fish food. It looks like the end. And then, at the last possible second, he moves. He sidesteps Hatchan's attack with this impossible burst of speed, snatches their swords out of the air without even looking, and he's back in the fight. The swagger is back. Even on death's door, the man has style.
It's a bluff, though, a necessary one. He's putting on a confident front, this aura of untouchable coolness, but we know he's running on fumes. The only thing holding him together is the promise he made to Luffy. Hatchan is a powerhouse with 6 swords. On paper, this is an impossible fight for Zoro in his condition.
That's what Hatchan thinks too. He leaps back, totally unfazed, and starts talking about how Zoro can't possibly handle all 6 of his swords. He literally spells it out for him. "My style is the 6-sword style. Roku Toryu, you only have 3. My number is double yours." It's simple math to him.
6 is greater than 3. It's fishman logic. It speaks to the core of Arlong's crew and their philosophy. They are physically superior, therefore they are better. They see the world in terms of quantifiable power, species, strength, number of swords.
But it's not about the math. It's never about the math with the Straw Hats. Zoro immediately proves it. As Hatchan comes at him with a 6-sword flurry, Zoro doesn't just block, he finds an opening. He parries the strikes and lands a clean, vertical slash right across Hatchan's chest. 3 long, parallel cuts. The whole crowd is stunned.
Johnny and Yosaku are ecstatic, but the fishmen are in disbelief. This human who should be on the verge of death just wounded one of their commanders. It doesn't make sense to them.
And this is where the real fight begins, because the physical wound just makes Hatchan angry. He's more confused than anything. It doesn't compute for him. He starts yelling that it's illogical for Zoro to beat him. You're just a weak human. There's no way you can defeat me.
He's trying to reconcile what just happened with his entire worldview, and he can't. His reality is breaking.
And then Zoro says it. The line. He's panting, bleeding, but he looks up with this fire in his eyes and says, "The weight of our swords is different." Chills, absolute chills every single time I read it.
This connects directly back to his fight with Mihawk. It is the thesis statement of his new journey. Mihawk didn't beat him with pure strength. He beat him with overwhelming skill and presence, with the weight of being the world's greatest. Mihawk's small knife had more weight than all three of Zoro's swords combined because of the will behind it.
Zoro is internalizing that lesson right here, in the middle of a life or death battle. This isn't just a post-fight reflection in a dojo. He's learning and applying the single most important lesson of his life while actively bleeding out. It's incredible. And of course, Hatchan completely misses the point.
He takes it literally. He holds up his swords and proudly proclaims, "Of course they are. Each of my beloved cutlasses weighs 300 kilograms. You couldn't even lift one."
The man is a glorious idiot, a lovable, deadly, glorious idiot. He thinks Zoro is talking about a workout routine. He's flexing his muscles, thinking that's the source of his power, and he has no idea he's just proving Zoro's point for him.
Because Hatchan's swords are just heavy tools. They're weapons, impressive ones, but they lack a deeper purpose. Zoro's swords, Wado Ichimonji in particular, but all three in this moment, are extensions of his will, his dream, his promise to Kuina, and now his vow to Luffy. That collective burden, that purpose, is the weight he's speaking of.
That's the weight of ambition, the weight of all the people who believe in you. Hatchan doesn't get it, so he just attacks again, bringing all 6 swords down in a single powerful jab. He's trying to overwhelm Zoro with sheer physical force.
And Zoro meets them. He blocks the attack, blade against blades. The panel shows this incredible struggle, sparks flying. 3 swords holding back 6. You can see the strain on Zoro's face. He's at his absolute physical limit.
But Hatchan's got a trick up his sleeve, and you gotta give him credit for this. It's a super smart move. While they're locked together, he suddenly spreads his arms, using the independent movement of his 6 limbs to pry Zoro's swords apart, forcing them wide and leaving his entire torso exposed.
It's a brilliant tactical maneuver, using the awkwardness of fighting a 6-armed opponent to his advantage. A normal swordsman would have no counter for that. Zoro is left completely defenseless in the middle.
And Hatchan follows it up with a brutal headbutt, just a raw physical shot right to Zoro's temple. It sends Zoro flying, tumbling through the air.
You can see the impact in the art. Zoro's eyes go white. It's the kind of blow that should cause a severe concussion, if not knock him out completely.
You really think this is it. He's in the air, on the verge of blacking out. The world is spinning for him. You can just feel the screen going dark for him. He's disarmed, wounded, and stunned.
And Hatchan isn't taking any more chances. He prepares the finisher. He holds his 6 swords over his head and starts spinning them rapidly, creating a horrifying buzzsaw of steel. It's a gruesome, horrifying trap, designed so that when the airborne Zoro falls, he'll land right on top of it and be shredded.
It is pure nightmare fuel. Johnny and Yosaku are screaming. It's over. He's going to fall. It's just gravity. There's no way out. But this is Roronoa Zoro. He doesn't just fall. He fights gravity. He fights physics. He fights everything. He twists his body in midair, a feat of impossible core strength, lands on top of the spinning blades.
He lands on the flat sides of the swords, not the edges. It's an incredible display of precision and body control, even in his weakened state.
And he doesn't stop there. He uses their spinning momentum to get on top of Hatchan, landing a devastating slash across his hands as he goes.
He turns Hatchan's ultimate attack into a staircase. It's one of the most brilliant and resourceful battle moments we've seen from anyone in the series so far.
It's one of the most resourceful things we've seen him do, period. This proves he's not just a tank who can take a hit. He's a brilliant fighter, a combat genius. He analyzed the attack, saw the flaw, and exploited it in a split second, all while half dead. Hatchan drops his sword, screaming in pain, and now he's just furious.
He's been wounded, outsmarted, and disarmed. His superior numbers failed, his superior weight failed, and his ultimate technique was turned against him. His entire philosophy of strength has completely failed him.
So what's left? Brute force. He just charges, intent on finishing Zoro with his bare hands. He's abandoned all pretense of being a swordsman. But Zoro's not done. He's talking to himself, his internal monologue flashing back to that moment after the Mihawk fight. He's reminding himself of his promise. I will not lose again.
He made that promise with tears in his eyes, facing his captain. It's the foundation of who he is now. Losing is no longer an option for him. It would be a betrayal of Kuina, of Luffy, and of himself. That vow is the fuel source when the tank is empty.
He meets Hatchan's charge head on, 3 swords against pure fury. And as Hatchan comes at him again, their swords connect, and Hatchan's 300-kilogram blades just break apart like glass.
And as the shards fly through the air, Zoro, panting, looks down at the broken steel and tells him, "This is what I meant by weight."
Super. That's the moment. That is the single most satisfying sword shattering I think I have ever seen. It's the physical manifestation of what he was talking about. It's not magic. It's the idea that his will, his dream, concentrated into the edge of his blades, is literally harder than 300 kilograms of steel. It's conviction made tangible.
It's the perfect end to that argument. There's nothing left for Hatchan to say. His philosophy has been broken along with his swords. Zoro didn't just defeat his body, he defeated his entire belief system.
And Zoro finishes it. He raises his 3 swords and unleashes a whirlwind of slashes, a spinning vortex of steel that looks like a tornado. He sends Hatchan flying into the air, and the fight is over. One of Arlong's top officers is down.
A victory born of pure, unbelievable willpower. He shouldn't have been able to stand, let alone win that fight. He's on the verge of collapsing. But for that brief moment, he was untouchable.
But a promise to his captain and his rival is a powerful thing. Whew, okay, that fight is an all-timer. I'm exhausted just talking about it. But the fight at Arlong Park isn't over. Kurobi, the fishman karate expert, sees Hatchan fall, and he is not happy. He goes right for the wounded, collapsing Zoro.
He's not going to give him a second to breathe. There's no honor among these pirates. Zoro is at his most vulnerable, having just expended every last ounce of his energy. It's a ruthless, pragmatic move.
But he never gets there. Out of nowhere, a black dress shoe intercepts his strike. A sharp, clean kick blocks the powerful fishman punch. It's Sanji, just as cool as you please.
He just steps in, hands in his pockets, blocking the fishman karate punch with a simple kick. The sound effect is a hard clang, as if his leg were made of steel. Kurobi is shocked that he's even standing after the hit he took earlier from him.
I love Sanji's response. He just scoffs, takes a drag from his cigarette, and says something like, "That love tap? Anyone from the Barati could have taken that punch." It's not just arrogance, it's a tribute to Zeph and the other fighting cooks.
He's defending the honor of his home. He's saying that the training and the beatings he endured there made him strong enough that a fishman's best shot feels like nothing. And in doing so, he completely baits Kurobi.
Oh yeah, hook, line, and sinker. Kurobi immediately bites, fuming that he's being underestimated, that his fishman karate is being mocked. Sanji played him perfectly. Now Kurobi's focus is entirely on him, and Zoro is safe.
It's a great display of teamwork, even without them speaking. Sanji assessed the situation instantly. Zoro is down. He's the immediate target. I need to intervene. Protect the crewmate. Draw the enemy's fire. It's a classic battlefield tactic, executed flawlessly.
The monster trio is really starting to feel like a unit. Luffy takes on the big boss, Zoro takes on the number 2, and Sanji cleans up and protects everyone else. Each one of them is an absolute beast in their own right.
Meanwhile, the crew's captain is in a slightly less dignified situation.
Yeah, he set the bottom of a pool with his feet in a block of stone. Still drowning. That part is still happening. Arlong's little party trick from the last chapter has Luffy completely immobilized.
Genzo and Nojiko are with him, trying desperately to break the rock, but it's a hopeless effort.
And it's just not working. The pressure is immense. They're just normal people, and they're running out of air fast. The panels depicting this are genuinely stressful. You see Luffy's face, his cheeks puffed out, then him accidentally inhaling a lungful of water. It's a genuinely tense, awful scene.
They have to surface, gasping for breath. The situation looks completely hopeless. They can't break the stone. They can't lift the stone. Luffy is a devil fruit user, so he's completely powerless down there. All they can do is watch him die.
But then, as they're catching their breath, they look at each other. You can see the gears turning in Genzo's head. He looks down at Luffy, then back at Nojiko. They get an idea. A shared, silent understanding passes between them.
And that's where we leave it, with a spark of hope in a desperate situation. Oda leaves us on that cliffhanger, with the two of them resolved to try a new plan.
What could it possibly be? They can't lift him. They can't break the stone. This is a real puzzle box scenario. They have no strength, no tools that work. What could they possibly do?
Oda loves these kinds of puzzles. The solution is never what you expect, but it always makes perfect sense in hindsight, usually utilizing a unique aspect of the world or the characters.
I have so many thoughts on what it could be, and we want to hear yours too. What do you think Genzo and Nojiko's plan is? Drop your theory in the comments. We read every single one.
Okay, let's get into predictions for Chapter 86. What do you have, Franky?
All right, prediction 1. It's about that idea. They can't bring Luffy up to the air, so they're going to bring the air down to Luffy. I think Genzo and Nojiko are going to grab his head and body, and they're just going to pull and stretch his rubber neck all the way to the surface, so he can breathe while they figure out how to break the stone.
That is absurd. It's ridiculous, it defies all known biology, and it also feels exactly like something that would happen in this world. I like it. A human snorkel. What else?
Prediction 2. We're going to get the full Sanji versus Kurobi fight. I think Kurobi, being a fishman, is going to show off the true power of fishman karate underwater. He's going to drag Sanji into the pool to gain the advantage. But Sanji is going to reveal a new named kick, something we haven't seen before, and use the water to his advantage somehow, maybe kicking off the pool walls, and end the fight decisively.
A focused fight chapter. That feels right, given the pacing. Okay, my turn. My first prediction is that we're going to cut away from Arlong Park entirely for a portion of the chapter. We haven't seen Usopp since he supposedly ran away after his confrontation with Chu. I think we'll see that he didn't run far, but instead he's rallying the rest of the Kokoyasi villagers who weren't at the front gate, preparing some kind of surprise attack with his slingshot and trick ammo. He is playing the long game.
I would love that. A big Usopp hero moment is exactly what this arc needs. Prove to everyone and himself that he's a brave warrior of the sea. What's your second?
My second prediction is that Arlong himself will finally react. He's been sitting on his throne this whole time, laughing, completely confident in his officers. But now, two of them have fallen. Hatchan and Chu are both down. I don't think he's going to fight yet, but I think we'll see his temper flare. He'll stand up, maybe destroy a piece of his throne room with his bare hands, just to show everyone the level of power they're really dealing with. A taste of the final boss.
Ooh, I like that. The boss's HP bar finally appears on screen. That's a super good place to end it. Well, that's all the time we have for today. This has been a heavy one. The weight of this chapter is immense.
Join us next time as we see if any of our predictions come true and continue our journey through the Arlong Park arc. Until then, stay super, everyone.